this human garage deal that's going all over the internet. Next morning, I woke up and started doing the maneuvers, ended up finding so many changes that happened with myself that my entire world changed.
Hello and welcome all these beautiful beings. These are all fascial maneuver coaches, and we're going to have an inflow conversation about how all of these beautiful women came together and something that they're offering the community here in North America very soon. And I met Janine in Mexico. I was recently there with Human Garage, and we've been chatting, and she mentioned she was with this beautiful group of women. You might recognize Deidre. She was our first inflow conversation that we had coming back with Flow Network. So welcome again. Welcome Jenna, welcome Julie, welcome Barb. And thank you, Janine, just for asking to be here and bringing all of you together. Let's start with you, Janine. Like, what brought you to this work, and what's really alive for you today?
Well, what brought me to doing fascial maneuvers is probably what brought everybody here is pain in the body, feeling stuck, not knowing where I was going to go next. And then I discovered fascial maneuvers, and it was just amazing. The transition I saw in my body, in my mental state, my physical state, everything.
Beautiful. Julie, what about you? You're in Toronto, back in the GTA where I used to live.
Lovely. I'd like to go west. Anyway, not yet. So I got started because I was a practitioner and somebody, a massage therapist and a physiotherapist practitioner asked me about this human garage deal that's going all over the internet. And I took a look at it. The next morning, I woke up and started doing the maneuvers and thought I was doing them for my clients as a hands-on practitioner, and then ended up finding so many changes that happened with myself that my entire world changed. And then I introduced them as I was going through them myself to my clients, as well as starting the hands-on work.
Amazing. And what changes have you noticed in your body since?
Well, when I first started, I was an obsessive exercise person, and I noticed that I don't require that anymore.
This is
There,
actually the same for me. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just
Yeah,
don't require that anymore. I look more for peace. I do have a balance in life, and that's been the key.
love it. Jenna, what about you? What got you into this work with fascia?
Yeah, I'm a physical therapist and I was going through 18 years of chronic pain
Wow.
and autoimmune issues. And I actually was at a place called the Dayton Body Garage. And the guy there said, "Hey, you know what? You should look into this human garage stuff. I think it would help you." So I downloaded the app, started doing that. And then within, I would say, 6 weeks or so, I noticed such a change in my body. Um, The chronic pain issues went away, my stomach issues went away, they started decreasing, so that hooked me because I had been to everybody. I had spent so much money attempting to find something that could help me, and it just seemed too easy. So I was like, "I'm gonna keep going and just see how long this is gonna hold on," you know? And so that's basically what hooked me, and then I took that into my work with pediatrics and started, implementing that, and then that led to building the parents and kids program at Human Garage. So the rest is history.
That's amazing. Amazing. Barb, what about you? What brought you into this work?
Um, like many people, the internet was my lure in. The Instagram, the 2-hour daily conversations with Gary. And it wasn't until I was pulled up live with him that it truly changed my life. My husband was on his fourth cancer surgery, and
Oof.
so when speaking to Gary about and it's funny how he knew where to take me in conversation. And he said, you know, you have to start the 28-day reset. now. He said, have you started? And I said, no, I'm kind of, I'm waiting until my husband's better and I want to do it. I want us to do it together. And he looked me straight in the eye and he said, you start now.
Mm.
And I went, okay. And that next day I started 28 days and I have not looked back. I've gone through the whole
Mm.
gamut like everybody else. And gosh, I even think I've done 28 days, I think 4 or 5 times now. I will say 4 for sure committed. The 5th time I kind of, you know,
That's
no, it wasn't no
amazing.
longer for me, but, yeah, that's how I got lured in at
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
yeah.
That's an amazing thing. I was just talking, my partner and I just came on live earlier today, and he was a caregiver to his wife who she lost her dance with cancer 3 years ago, but he's still recovering from that caregiving and like using the fascial maneuvers to regenerate, but to be able to do them while you're in it, I can only imagine would be such a lifesaver for you
Oh,
as, the
present time,
caregiver.
doing it present time, no looking back was, yeah, and, Gary had also said to me, "If your husband does not start looking at his emotions, he's gonna have a come to Jesus moment sooner than he expected." So he wasn't the only one, that needed to obviously have a revamp, a
Mm,
redirection.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deidre, I know we mentioned it a bit on our live together, what brought you in, but for anybody who's, meeting you for the first time here, why don't you
Yeah.
share what brought you?
Mine's a long journey of chronic pain. It started whenever before I turned 16, age 14 or 15. And 3 years into fascial maneuvers was really the first time that I felt no headache for the first time. So, which was last summer. My first 28 day after that, it wasn't as quick as like Jenna's response, but I could tell my body wasn't resisting anymore. And so like I removed the bars behind my teeth that were retainers holding my teeth in place. And so it took a really long time. Now 4 years into
Mm.
it, so much has shifted in my body, so much openness, ease. I am still having shifts happen. Even better though, I'm calmer as a school teacher and as a mom. Just my nervous system is regulated. I'm still healing, and I think you're always changing. But for me, um, seeing the benefit of using some of the things I've learned with my students at school. We've worked with a lot of parents in the Parents and Children's program and answered a lot of questions for a lot of moms where kids that they're worried about their nervous system and their body receiving. So I think
Mm.
my biggest thing was laying in bed one night ready to give up on everything again. I'd already stopped doing all the Western medicine stuff and had been doing Eastern medicine for 4 years at that point. 3 years into stored emotions, which was helping me, but I needed the missing piece. And for me, learning about the fascia was the missing piece. Then the stored emotions had space to move out because I finally was getting my body out of stress. So
Mm.
it's been a journey. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that all of you obviously are touching on the emotions being at the foundation of all the work, and that's so much probably what brought us towards Human Garage and the fascial work. And it's just such a powerful time that more and more people are recognizing that we store these emotions in our body and it affects all areas of our life. I and so it's just really beautiful to see you all touch on that and to give voice to that. Who wants to talk about like the story of how you all came together? From Edmonton, Barb and Julia in Toronto and Janine in Northern Ontario and Deidre and Jenna in the States. Like, how did this you guys all come together? Because you're all co-creating an event, right, in September
Mm-hmm.
for 200 plus people.
Yep.
Janine, do you want to speak
Yeah,
to that?
I can speak to that. Because I'm probably uh, well, the commonality between everybody. When I Julie and I actually started doing the fascial maneuvers at the same time, and we didn't even know each other. We both started in January of 23. And then in May of 23, I went on a retreat with Human Garage in Tulum, and I met Deidre. And she was my roommate.
Oh, nice.
And so that was how we met. And then, of course, all of us all went through the coaching program, the original one, at the same time, approximately. And then I guess I didn't really know Jenna though. And then that November I went on a retreat again in Costa Rica, and I met Julie. So that's how we came together. And then we've been fast friends ever since, and we've done a lot of co-creations together. We've done retreats together and a lot of projects. And then I knew Barb from the coaching program as well. But it was last August when I went to Omega Institute. Gary was there doing a retreat, and that's how I met Jenna, Deidre, and Barb were all together. And I sort of had this vision of this retreat that I wanted to create, and I had ran it by Julie the year before because I actually wanted to do it in 2025. And I was just like, this is such a big thing. Like, I need to surround myself with some really strong co-creators, really strong women who will fully support me. And when I was at Omega, I was like, I ran it past these 3 ladies, and they're like, I'm in. And I'm like, okay, I got my team. Came back home, and we all came together, the 5 of us, and it was like, yeah, here we go. We're gonna do this. And I'm so grateful to have these beautiful women around me, and they fully support me. And I don't think they realized how much work it was going to be when they first signed on. They're probably regretting it now. I don't know, but not going to lie, it's been a journey.
That's really beautiful. One of the things I've noticed in the short time that I've been into the Human Garage culture, I started in the summer, this last summer, around July. But one thing I've noticed, because I was also at the retreat and shared presence with the founders and all the coaches, is there is such a beautiful atmosphere and energy of co-creation. It's just, they seem to be attracting that kind of people, and it's such a powerful time to come together and work together and collaborate. So I
Yeah.
love hearing that, how you guys all came together. And who wants to talk about the vision? What does it look like? When is it? What do you want to share? Who is this for?
I'll speak up a little. I think for us, we got to know each other meeting weekly, coming to Zoom calls within the Human Garage community through our healing journey. Like, we were detoxing, we were emotions were coming up, and we needed support, and we would show up and support each other, not even planned, right? It was just, we allowed it to flow. And I feel like we understand how much community is such an important part to people witnessing their own transformation. And we wanted, I know Janine wants to give an opportunity, and I know we all keep showing up, whether it's through volunteering through Human Garage or moving forward in our own programs. We want to give that support to others, because when we're busy getting in our car and driving to work every day and doing all this and that and following our kids around or babysitting the grandkids, we forget about taking care of ourselves. And then we really forget about relying on others and having community to do it. So I think that is at the foundation, if anybody wants to join.
Yeah, so let's see the details of like where, when, how many days of this event. Jenna, do you want to riff
Oh
on that?
gosh. You're gonna get me on the spot. Yeah. So this is taking place in September. Okay. And And Janine, where is it in Canada?
Yeah, probably better to ask Janine, because I was like, I had to look on the map as well. Like, where?
It's
Don't ask
2.5
me. Don't
hours
ask me the
north of me.
geographics, okay? I just know
Yes.
it's north from me.
And you're all coming together? Like, you will all be there for
Yes.
it?
Yes,
For
we're
sure.
all
Yeah.
gonna be there. Mhm.
It's
That's amazing.
it's September 3rd to the 6th. It's in
US.
it's at Camp White Pine, which is a kids camp actually. It's a 1,600 acre property on a beautiful lake.
Nice.
And it's about 2.5 hours north of Toronto in Halliburton.
Nice. And so, well, is it just like people come, or is there an event? Like, will they stay overnight, or
Do you want to
is it?
speak, Barb? Or you go
Yeah,
ahead.
for sure. Oh gosh, no, we have to be together. We all have to be together for those
Yeah.
days and
Yes.
evenings. So yeah, we have 3 keynote speakers, and then we have guest facilitators who we are bringing in and sharing the space with. And so people
Amazing.
will come and they'll arrive about Thursday afternoon, where there will be activities and festivities, and then yeah, heading into Friday is probably the main event where we're gonna, have stuff throughout the day. And then we also so I'll finish with that. Then yeah, and then everybody will head out on Sunday. And we're having like a marketplace. There's gonna be vendors. There's fantastic food, I hear, because Janine and Julia have both attended events at this camp, and they rant and rave about the food. So I'm really looking forward to that portion. But
Nice.
you know, I I really just also want to touch upon with what Deidre had said, and it's working with community, but finding the space within yourself, finding what ignites yourself, but in a safe container, is what truly we are hoping, trusting to provide for everyone there. And there's enough days to again co-create and commingle and see what beautiful stuff come from it. Comes from the event. I'm just so excited about it and igniting that little flame within me again to, you know, move forward.
Mm, amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I'm looking forward to, Barb, when you say we have 3 nights together, Sarah. So, like, it's not just 2 hours or a half day. We're gonna be with each other for a period of time, and we're gonna have food. To me, it's like an all-inclusive, but, like, the type that I wanna go to, where we're gonna be, like, moving our bodies. We're gonna be doing mindset work. There's gonna be sound baths. We're gonna be outside by the water. It's like all the things that I would wanna do on vacation, and we're gonna be learning and connecting all at the same time. So that's what I'm looking forward to in September up north
Yeah,
for
up
me.
north somewhere. Yeah, that sounds really, really beautiful and so powerful. And I mean, we've all been at retreats with fascial maneuvers, and I'm sure you'll be doing partner maneuvers as well. I'm sure those are so incredibly powerful, and the amount of transformation that can happen in such a short period of time, especially when you're condensed and just
Mhm.
all commingling and spending that time together. Julie, you said you were at a retreat in Costa Rica. What did you experience shift within you in those
That was my
relatively
life
short
changer.
period of
Thank you
time?
for asking. That
Yeah.
was my life changer. That was so when I arrived in Costa Rica, I hung out with Janine on the way there. We got to know each other pretty well. But what happened in Costa Rica is um, I suddenly was called to move in front of the group of people. My legs shook like you've never seen anybody shake before. People asked me if I had disease because my legs were shaking, but my voice was so steady and I was so clear on my message that I knew the it felt like I finally stood up and spoke my voice.
Wow.
And I just I felt like it was a moment of waking up and feeling more connected to myself than I ever felt before. Also being vulnerable because I realized how safe it was to most of the time when I'm in maneuvers with the Toronto group, I lead a Toronto group here. I'm very emotion forward, and it could be a little frightening for people, and I'm not afraid of it. And that was the moment, that place was the place that brought me into being fearless about my emotions.
That's
So,
amazing. Wow. Thank you
yeah,
for sharing.
and also the incredible community. I mean, uh, that's it's just I didn't have friends. I had codependents before, and now I have people that lifetime friends connection like I've never felt before, that we'd have each other's backs no matter what. So
Wow.
back to feeling the community and the care for each other is
Mm.
that's been key.
Yeah, I really witnessed that interdependence. It's not that the core team model. It's not that
Yep.
codependence like you mentioned. They really are modeling that interdependence, that we all do need each other, especially moving forward in these times. And wow, what a powerful story. Um, let's move off the event a little now. We've given some of the details, and you guys can share whatever links or whatever in this video. But who wants to speak to why, when we work with our fascia, that would free our voice? Anyone? Why when we like work with a fascia would that give Julie that feeling of like speaking for the first time, like truly and authentically?
Well, I have a theory,
Yes.
and I will tell you that, like, this is just my theory. I'm not going to say everybody might not agree with this,
Let's
but
hear it.
I do a lot of mindset work with clients. So we get into their story, the story that they tell themselves. We get into areas that they feel stuck, and I ask them, "Where do you feel that in your body?" And they might say, "Oh, in my shoulders, or in my neck, in my head, in my stomach, wherever it may be." And I mix in fascial maneuvers with that. And there is always an emotional release, or there's an awareness that comes in. And to me, you can't disconnect the two. You have to work with both. And so to me, they're just interrelated. When you work with the fascia holds all these memories. Like in Eastern medicine, they talk about our organs holding our emotions. Well, for me, it's so powerful to get into the story and look at the emotion, but also connect it with the body and then move through that. And it's just amazing what happens. And that's what's going to be happening. I know we're not talking about the event, but that's what's going to be happening at the event too, because we have one of the top mindset coaches, in my opinion. Mark England's going to be there. And we are going to be doing that process along the way,
Oh wow,
that whole
amazing.
weekend.
Amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, feel free to talk about the event as much as you want
Yeah.
with whatever comes
Yeah.
up, and I'm sure there's so many elements to describe about it. I love that, and I have the same theory. So I think, two people or more,
Hmm.
it's real. But it's true. It's so interconnected, and that's what I love
Hmm.
about fascia. The conversation brings us to the interconnectedness of all of life, like of every aspect of our being into the external and the environment around us, and opening up our intuition and our connection to our higher self or the universe or whatever you want to
Hmm.
call it. And it just, we're literally unblocking our fascia. We're unblocking the walls that have been put up and conditioned around us for so many years. So I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense, right? Because people will start doing fascial work, and then all of a sudden, you start having memories come up, or you remember certain things, and it's like, how does that work?
Yeah.
How does that happen? I mean, I can't explain it. I'm just saying that that's what we've seen through all of these different Zoom calls in the past 3 or 4 years doing this work. Deidre, would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, what you're speaking into is the fact that as everybody does this work, we don't know what's going to be ignited within you, but it's always been within you. So it's actually a reignition. But that didn't flow for the name of the event as well. So, we're I agree. Recently, Gary said something about this. This is an embodiment of we're an embody. The leaders are embodying what it means to connect your higher self with your physical body, and I had
Yes.
no idea that that's what was going to happen as I brought my body out of stress and I opened up all that dense restriction, especially the tension in the jaw, not speaking my truth, right? And finding my voice. But as the heart opens, because you release so much anger and fear that you are holding into your body, the only thing that can happen is for love to ignite within you, and that's going to open up this awareness of hearing that spirit within you rather than that ego voice. And that ignition and awareness of hearing spirit over ego is just an amazing sensation, an amazing experience. And everybody will be on their own journey, but what's within you will be ignited, and that connection will happen on some level, because we've witnessed it over and over and over again. So whether you're just bringing your body out of stress, or you've already been in that nice area and you're ready to ignite something within you, that's what we want people to experience. We want to share it.
Beautiful. Yeah, it is amazing. And it's always so inspiring getting on the calls with people who are doing this deep work, which, that we have weekly coaches calls, and all these micro communities within the community get together and share their powerful stories of healing, and that our bodies are so powerful and they really can heal at such an amazing rate compared to like how we've been conditioned, and more just thinking of them as mechanical bodies. And so as we kind of get closer to the last few minutes of our beautiful time together, does somebody want to share some other amazing story, whether it's your own body or something in your own life that has occurred, or a client or somebody else if you worked with? Does anybody have like something jumping into their mind that they want to share?
I I do have something. Deidre
Yeah.
and I both. So we had a client who had, I believe she was around 50 years old. She had a stroke. Was it last year? He,
A
it's
couple of
been
years ago,
recent,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're doing mindset work with her. And the first call, she was showing us how like this arm would go up, right? And this arm would like, it was slowly like, this is as high as she could get it, right? So then the next call we got on, we worked through some stories, we worked through some different things that she was saying to herself. We shifted her language, and she was messaging us through the week, like, I can't believe how good I feel, blah, 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 blah. We get on the next call. She's like, look at this. And her arm goes all the way up. We did not touch her, never put my hands on her, never had her on my mat table, nothing. All we did was work on her language. And she was doing like the
Seated,
15
totally
minutes.
twisted. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say the seated 15-minute reset.
Wow.
That's it.
That's amazing. Amazing.
Explain that to me, Sarah. That's what I want to know. I'm
And
like, why
she's
did I
been
go to
going,
PT school?
she had been going, and Jenna's a physical therapist, but she's been going to physical therapy 2-3 times a week ever since she was recovering. So that just really says something too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I think that for me, what comes up is like, we all know like fascia, our fascia is water. It's the fourth state of water. And most people know by now that water holds memory, and it's also listening to our words and our thoughts. So like you're saying with the mindset work and the story is like our fascia is constantly listening to what we're informing it is or
Mm-hmm.
isn't. And sometimes we don't realize like the stories we're stuck in our mind that is programming our body to be
Mm-hmm.
more limited than it needs to be. And so I love sharing these stories like this so that people can just open their mind and be so curious about
Mm-hmm.
how good people can feel in their body and how quickly we can move through pain or challenges. And I mean, most of you touched on this a little bit about what comes up when we start going and doing that deeper work. So it's like we go into the fascial maneuvers or whatever the work that we're doing with the body, the emotions, and stuff comes up that doesn't always feel great.
Mm-hmm.
And it might feel really great in the beginning, like you relieve something, you're like, oh, I feel so free. And then a day or two later, something comes up and the pain moves somewhere else. Does someone want to touch on like what's going on there and what you would tell like any participants at the retreat to kind of expect, and that it's okay, or any sort of words around that? Who feels?
Sure, I can speak about that.
Yeah.
So we're a pressurized system. So energy is always going to go where it's most stuck. So if there's an area of your body that you're not aware of, and you've worked other areas, it may move to that area to bring more awareness so that you continue to work on your journey. Your journey is not over. So that's the way I would suggest it. And then to speak into that a little bit is also handing people back the permission to work on themselves. It
Yes.
gives them something to say, I still have something for me to work on. So just in my experience, I have done quite a bit of online classes and things. And some people I've only seen maybe one time for a session. They come to online classes and they contact me back. And and the people that are most committed to just to doing a few fascial maneuvers a day they see their own personal empowerment that they have through that. And to me, that's the best gift ever, is to see that someone is utilizing these to get through their day, to support their family, to help a child in their family that is disrupted in some way in their life. And those are the big wins. And I think for all of us, it's just um, what these do for so many people on different levels is it's bringing us back our power.
Mm. That's beautiful. Well said. And I was going to ask you guys, like, what gives you the passion to, share these maneuvers and, come together and do an event, as you mentioned, Janine. It is a lot of work behind the scenes to do these kinds of things. But I think you just touched on it, Julie. It's that giving people the power back to say, like, oh, my body's very intelligent, and if I just listen to it, it's actually talking to me and giving me some wisdom, and then I can work with it and actually relieve it and learn something about myself. And I can see all the passion that you guys have. And Janine, did you want to finish up with anything maybe that we didn't touch on that's kind of top of mind for you?
Yeah, I was just gonna add, like, to the Julie's story there. Like, we want people to come away with some tools that they can use on their own, and that they feel empowered. And we want to, give them the feeling that they're supported by this beautiful community, as we have been, and they're going to take that away, and they're going to feel so much more elevated and empowered to just continue on with their journey and give them hope. So that's what we're hoping for.
Uh, that's really beautiful. I know it'll be a very impactful and transformative time with all of you beautiful ladies and the beautiful land of Ontario as well. Where can people find more information about this? Janine?
So we have a website. It's called ignitewithinevent.com. We also have an Instagram page as well, and we'll be starting to post there very soon. And we'll be also posting it on all of our own personal pages as well. We each have our own pages as well. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
I love it. And we'll post it below this as well so people
Okay.
can find you guys. And I know we have to go in a minute, but does anybody want to give a super quick fascial maneuver for anybody who's never done it before, just to have like a super little taste? What one would we do?
Do you know what, Sarah? Like, you spoke into voice, right? You spoke into having a voice,
Yeah.
opening up that. So let's just do the thyroid
Love it.
release.
Perfect.
And and as we're doing the thyroid release, I like it when people actually become the flashlight themselves and find those stuck areas within and breathe that breath, breathe those words out that have been stuck. So taking your left hand and just supporting it on the base of your collarbones, taking your right hand on either side of your throat. And you're just going to just gently create space between the two hands. And let's breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth for 6. And you can move if you want, or you can just stay still. Feet firmly on the ground, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And coming back to
Beautiful.
neutral.
Beautiful. That was a good one to pick. I think it's an important one for right now, especially us women. And I want to thank all of you for coming and sharing your love and your love for empowering others. It's been an honor to speak with all of you. And if you're watching this and you joined us in the fascial maneuver, let us know in the comments what you felt. Thank you guys very much, and all the best with your retreat. I might be there if it flows. That would be lovely. I have family in Ontario. So yeah.
We'd love
Bye,
to have
everybody.
you. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you,
Appreciate you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.